So, what are we doing today? Well, we're just going to talk about investments. So, when I first moved to Texas, people would be like, "Well, how many cows do you have?" And I'm like, I didn't really want to share how many cows I had because technically all you have to do is multiply by 1,000 with how many cows they say, and you know what that bank account is. So you have your bank account running around your yard. So if you say 30 cows, you multiply by 1,000. Well, you can do the math. It's $30,000. So at first I kind of took offense to that, but I soon realized that that's just a question people ask here in Texas. Just like in California, it was like, well, what kind of car do you drive? Probably because that's the only thing you can afford in California is a car and not really a house. And then when you live in Utah, people ask right away, "Are you a Mormon?" And I was younger back then, and mostly that was probably to see whether you were like marriage minded or not. So I thought I'd talk about my little hedge fund that I have here. And I really didn't view it as that, but you hear all the negative stuff in the news about 15-minute cities and about how our money is, going to be worth nothing, and how the government has made a lot of money. And obviously we're experiencing inflation, partially caused due to that and other factors as well. But I can't really control those things, and because I feel like I can't control those things and I need to almost be reactionary, I already feel like I'm behind. So when I went to Afghanistan and I spoke to a number of different people, there were a few Afghans that had been born in America or were naturalized Americans, and they went back as translators, and they remember Afghanistan the way it was. They had Austrian curtains on the windows, and there was a lot more civilization. And they had been pounded into the cave age, and they probably will again be there if the current regime keeps on tightening up things the way that they are, but that's a different story altogether. And I thought to myself, well, what really keeps us civilized? And I was thinking, well, it's the fact that we have services and that we have rule of law and that we have a stable government. And a lot of people, I don't know if they're really hoping for it, but there's a lot of preppers that they're actually pretty scary. And I've lived in conditions where I've seen what it is to have no rule of law and things like that. And I can snap right back to that mindset, but I prefer not to. And on this channel, I don't really want to present a lot of negativity, and I don't want to distract you about 15-minute cities, and I think you should be aware of it, and so I will bring it up. But I don't think that you should distract your mind from the goal at hand. And if you want to be self-sustaining, like many people have been in the past in America, the Jeffersonian idea is 40 acres and a mule. And that independent spirit is really one of the founding principles of what Americans were all about. And I do see us drifting more and more towards specialization and consumerism, where we just don't have that ability, or it seems like we don't have that ability, but we do. But if too much is lost in between, the knowledge base of how to do things for yourself will be lost. And I think that it's really important to at least be aware of those skills and hunt that out. And a lot of times it's the older people. And like in Afghanistan, the elders were treasured. It wasn't like, oh, that's an old person and it's a dragon society and all these young people are pretty and thin and all that. The elders were respected for their knowledge and their wisdom and things. And when it comes to farming and ranching, the same is true with the old cowboy or farmer or rancher. And so I've taken heed, and I've come up with my own hedge fund. And so I'm just going to walk you around the farm, and I'm going to, pick maybe the top 5 things that I've been able to do over the course of 8 years. And that's the other thing. It's just like any investment. It's not timing the market, it's time in the market. You don't just get fruit trees overnight and you you have to learn what you need and how you will secure those things. And I did this initially because of there is a tornado uh, yeah, possibility, and so I bought a generator just in case I needed that. That was kind of a short-term solution to hopefully a short-term problem, and like a tornado or natural disaster event. But then after looking at the homesteading movement and things, more of a permanent sustainability really was appealing to me. And I think it's really appealing to anyone that's watching this channel and others that others similar to it. There's some people that have been, on YouTube a really long time with homesteading and ranching and farming news. And some I just find are just a little bit too negative for me. And I want to contribute positive things so that you can replicate that in some form or some manner, and concentrate on what needs to be done rather than what could or woulda, coulda, shoulda. Just take small steps toward your own sustainability. And so, well, let's go for a walk now. This right here is part of the transportation sector that I've invested in. He always starts, and for the most part, he always runs. This peach tree is my agro stock holdings, along with some other fruit trees: plum, apricot, apple, pear, and then there's an asparagus patch that's beneath this tree. This chicken coop is my hedge fund for a protein source, and both in eggs and in meat. What you're looking at here is my energy stock, as in non-depletable or almost non-depletable, because as you can see, there's a whole lot of trees out there. Again, I have duality. If I have to, I can suck water from the pond and filter it, or at least water a garden with it. This big water container is my insurance about not having my well work because the energy's turned off. I'll have to work on a better system, perhaps solar, so that my well can work, or a rainwater harvesting system. But it's hard to get everything done all at one time, and it all takes money. So you can just do one little thing at a time and have little subsystems in between, little baby steps, until you get a more permanent situation that you can work out all the little flaws from. This here is my health stock. He's my psychiatrist and a mouser. So he's my pesticide service and my psychiatrist. This land, the 113 acres of this land, is my renewable energy stock and my REIT stocks. So as you can see, a well-diversified portfolio consists of an energy stock, a transportation stock, an agro stock, a healthcare sector stock. These are just a few of the things, and I guess I have to make a disclaimer that I'm not a financial advisor, so do your own research. That's what we're doing today. See you next time.